Mike, he's like the cool guy at the party, comes late and leaves early. I gotta get on his plan, dude. That's how you get popular with the ladies. Uh, not that I need that. I'm married.
I don't think
But
anyone even knows that anyway. So you're like, in case my wife listens to this one podcast, I swear I'm not cheating on you.
I could really find that amusing if she's treating.
Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week are Eli,
Hello.
Unoclay,
Hey, everybody!
okay, and Mike should be joining us sometime later, hopefully. So we'll get on to what we've been playing. I haven't been playing much, so I'll go quickly. I finally not defeated. I finally finished the national dex in Pokemon Y. So yeah.
Woo!
So if you don't know, that's basically you got one of every Pokemon except for like event Pokemon, which they're giving away out this year anyway. But basically every possible attainable Pokemon I got, and it took quite a long. It actually took a month because I was looking back and when I actually started. So I got like over 200 Pokemon in the span of a month, like trading for legendaries and
Yeah,
evolving
you
like
just
crap.
gotta drill through it and go through with like the check marks, or whatever, and see what you missed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made like a whole list like one day of what Pokemon I had so I could like cross them off and just one by one
Hmm.
eventually got through it. A lot of grinding for sure because you have to evolve a lot of Pokemon. But it's over, and I guess I have that on my belt, even though it wasn't really fun to do. It reminded me of Mike, like just doing a challenge just for the sake of saying like I did it, even though I didn't like it. But I don't know, that's kind of cool. I think that I finally beat it. Probably would have been easier back in the day with only 150 of them, but whatever, it's done now. Um, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. I played some Smash with Unoclay and I played some Yoshi's Woolly World, but mostly it was just Pokemon and grinding and getting that out of the way. So now that that's gone, I'll actually play some other games now.
Way to
Um,
stick with it and see it to completion. Not all gamers have that kind of attitude these days, so I support that.
yeah, it was just like I forget why I turned on the game because it's been a while since I played it, but I'm like, huh, I have like 500 of them, and what are there 700? I'm like, I could probably do this, and eventually I did it.
There you
um,
go.
So that's pretty much all I've been doing. But Eli, you've been playing Fire Emblem Fates,
I've been
or
playing
trying
Fire Emblem
to. So like, tell
Fates
us about that.
Conquest. Not Birthright yet, even though I have it, and I probably should do that at
Yeah.
one point.
For
Uh,
the listeners, the Conquest is the harder version
yeah,
of the
Conquest.
two.
Well, because Jason, who's another writer on our site, he only got Birthright. So he's like, all right, I'm going to play Birthright and I'll review that. And I said, okay.
Hmm.
And so I got the special edition. I'm like, well, if you're taking Birthright, I guess I have to do Conquest. So I'm playing through on Conquest, and it's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I started on hard difficulty, and I got my butt kicked maybe 4 to 5 chapters in. So then I switched it to normal mode because there is no easy mode. You just gotta switch it to
Okay.
normal and hope for the best.
Oh gosh.
Um, so right now I'm doing marginally better, but I've been stuck on the 18th chapter for a little while. Although this run is looking pretty positive right now. Uh,
How many times have you played that one like level or chapter or
maybe
whatever it
maybe
is?
5 times. The game itself isn't terribly long if you know what you're doing, and I generally, if like you don't die, you could probably get through each level in 20 to 30 minutes, and with 20 levels, that's maybe like a 10-hour game, 8-hour game if you really knew what you're doing. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not making it through that quick because I'm dying.
Yeah.
So there's that. The game is really fun. I think the environments. I love a lot of the new maps. And as Matt brought up, there's this thing called Dragon Vein, which kind of messes with the environment. Personally, I don't think it's a huge deal. It doesn't change the game mechanics that much, but just the maps themselves to play on are, I think, a lot more fun than in Awakening. The story is okay. I don't think it's spectacular, but it's not bad.
Mhm.
I
Was
don't.
Awakening story any good, or was it the same kind of thing?
I know that some people liked it. Personally, I don't remember loving it very much. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
Same sort of thing. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Um, and the one thing I remember, the one thing I hated is, so at chapter 6, the way it works if you have the special edition is at chapter 6 you get to a divided path and you have to choose which family you want to side with, either Noah or Hoshido. And so that'll take you into Birthright or Conquest. And if you picked up the game, then it's chosen for you. And so I had to choose Conquest. And Conquest, for those that don't know, not only is it the harder version, but it's just like the dick version. The I'm gonna go like down the countryside slaughtering everyone I see version. It's like really disturbing. And so like I always play games and I try to be the good guy. I really, I'd always play through 2 playthroughs of Infamous for the platinum, but I would hate the bad playthrough because I hate hurting people and making morally bad decisions. So I'm playing through this game, slaughtering people, and I'm just like, I didn't want it. I didn't choose this. I didn't want this.
You're like, I didn't choose this life. You're like throwing grenades at people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily the story changes and it gets a little better in terms of like benevolency and stuff, but yeah, it's bad. It's like you're just slaughtering people and it's like I didn't want this life.
So with the 2 families, is there a clear like you're evil and you're good, or is it kind of like morally gray?
It's pretty clear that one side is the more evil side. However, it's not that the whole side is evil, it's just that the king is evil and he's making the whole like kingdom be evil.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like the other people in the kingdom aren't evil and they're fine. It's just the king that's a dick.
Yeah. Is that the North side?
Yeah, it's the North side.
Yeah, I figured. They were wearing black clothes. Of course they're going to be evil.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like even like 5 chapters in, it's like, oh my god!
Calling it here, the guy kills someone just to show how powerful he is.
It's pretty dark. Especially if you choose to stay with Nor instead of Hoshido. Overall, the special edition comes with 3 versions, of course, Birthright, Conquest, and then there's the third one, which is Revelations. Mm-hmm. That's if you choose not to side with either family, although I haven't played it yet, so I don't know what it's like. There's a really cool art book that comes with it. I definitely recommend getting the game, or at least a special edition, because, for 2 times more, you can get 3 times the game.
Jeez.
As much as I hate Nintendo for doing this. Excuse me. But the game is fun. My score that I'm thinking so far is looking pretty good, but to be fair, I still have, I think, at least, I'm on chapter 18. I think there's either 22 or 28 chapters in total. I forgot. So I'm either getting close to the end or not close to the end.
Or halfway.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's...
I haven't played anything else really other than that.
Yeah, I figured. Cool. So Unoclay, what have you been up to?
Yeah, not too much new on my front either. It's kind of the middle of February here, and cold weather hasn't kept me inside as much as normal, so I've been pretty busy outside of the gaming world. I really have been on the same stuff I've mentioned the last few podcasts we've been talking, still grinding away. Not even grinding, wrong word, because that sounds like it's a slog. I'm enjoying, the, like, campaign and side quests of Watch Dogs, and still just working on my Smash and my Splatoon even. Splatoon's a game I keep feeling like I might have had my fill of, and then I'll go a couple days, and then I'll be late at night one night, and I'll be like, which of the titles here do I want to play? And I'll throw that one in and find myself having fun playing some Rainmaker or one of the other modes. So been doing a bit of that, I downloaded a couple games that I haven't gotten to open up yet, and I'm looking forward to the stuff coming in the future here, like the Twilight Princess remake and things, but that's not for another several weeks yet.
I'm so excited for Twilight Princess. Oh my god.
I'm looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, you've played it, I'm sure, before, haven't you, Elia?
Not all the way through, actually. I've only played like 2 dungeons in, and I'm like, I'll always come back to it. And I never did. And now I'm super excited to play through it and beat it.
Likewise, yeah. I only got into the tutorial and gave up on it, so I'm looking forward to having something new to play. So, but in the meantime, yeah, like I said, still still banging away at some games I've mentioned and talked to death already in the podcast here. So, I kind of skip around. I have a lot of games kind of in progress, and I'd say of all consoles, maybe in my life, Wii U is the one where I have the most games that I've started. And I know to people who don't play a lot of Wii U, it sounds funny to say there's a lot of games. Maybe not quote a lot of games compared to some things, but I have the most games I have not completed, maybe of any console I've ever owned. Probably because I'm a full-grown adult. It's a little busy. Probably because I have a little bit more disposable income and can buy games a little faster than I used to in my life. But I notice that when I look at my shelf, I look and I say, I never finished DK Tropical Freeze, and you know
How
what?
dare you?
I know, and I haven't 100%ed Mario 3D World yet. I finished the main game, but I hadn't finished the bonus levels and things like that. So, a lot of times I'm the kind of person that before I let myself run out and buy a full new console release, I force first world problems, force myself to finish a game that's sitting there on my shelf, to get the full value out of it before I go and spend some more money. So got a bunch of things on the table there, and more to come, with a couple games coming soon. So, that's really my updates. I think we got Mike just joining the podcast here. I think Mike.
Yeah.
What up? What up? Yeah, Clay. I came into the good part. Totally agree with you on that, man. Like,
It's
I
funny.
mean,
'Cause
that's
Blake totally called it. He said, "Don't
No.
worry, he'll be there."
Freaking, I'm the same way though. It's like I mean, it's not. I would say PS3. I have my most games, but like I'm at that point where it's like, man, like I don't. I mean, I have to beat the game because I'm stupid like that, and I shouldn't. But then it's like I also go for the 100%, and I'm like, I'm wasting my time on this game when I could start other shit.
Yeah.
And then half the time it's like a stupid RPG game too, and I'm like, ugh, I'm really wasting my time. Like, this 60-hour game is gonna take me 80 hours or 100 hours of platinum, and it's like I don't have as much time as like with work and all the other stuff. But yeah, no, I hear you on that, dude. What's up, everybody? By the way,
What up?
You. So,
What up,
Mike,
what up?
what have you been playing recently?
Well, I've been playing Persona 4 Arena 2, which is
Cool.
good because it came out on PS3 re-release for PS Plus, so I'm able to get those online trophies now. Like, I came in at the right time, so
Nice.
I'm banging through that. I mean, I finished the game and its story. Now I'm just, grinding for the trophies.
Yeah.
So, once again, problem. Like, I'm done with the game, but it's like, well, no, I'm not really done. So I'm doing
What's your
that
trophy
crap.
level?
It's only like 20 or something like that.
Huh.
The trophy levels are weird. It's like you don't like if your first platinum will level you up to like level 5, but then like after that I got like 20 more platinums. You can only get jump up like 2 levels. It doesn't the higher level you go, like the less each trophy means in
Yeah.
percentage wise. It's like
Yeah.
fighting the same enemy over and over in an RPG.
Oh, man.
But yeah, other than that, I was playing some Danganronpa another episode Ultra Girls for the Vita, which is not bad. It's like a third. Yeah, I mean most of the Danganronpa games are like similar to Phoenix Wright with a mix of other stuff. One of those
Like visual
I don't know what
novel
kind of
type
style
of things.
yeah, like a visual novelist. But this one's a third person shooter, which is like
Oh,
way
cool.
off, the usual. But yeah, freaking is what it is. And then other than that, I'm with Joey and Billy here, so I'm gonna talk on this and use that. All right, I'll just explain later, but don't worry about it. It's freaking. Other than that, I finished Kirby, but I'm probably gonna pick up Paper Jam and Project X Zone this too.
Cool. I actually have some questions for you. Have you played Digimon Cyber Sleuth?
Oh, that's next on my list to
Oh,
play.
nice. I really want to play it like whenever I can actually get a PS4 because it just looks so awesome.
Yeah,
I think the last time I played a Digimon RPG was like on the DS or something.
It's the I know which one you're talking about, but like I can't. It's not Dust 2. I know which one you're talking about. Like I can't think of the name right now. But yeah, I played Cyber Sleuth at Comic-Con with Billy and Joey. It wasn't that bad, so
Nice.
like I enjoyed it. So I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it, but I don't know when I'm gonna have the time to play it, kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember you posted, I think on IGN or something, like a week or two ago that you think Korn is the best like Fire Emblem character in Smash. Did you want to like?
Yeah, he's
elaborate?
definitely fun. Like I mean, I had no expectations anyway, like going in. I mean, I haven't really touched Smash since they came out, to be honest. Like, I just played with them like the first 2 days, and after that, I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Corrin's like a lot of fun. Like, I don't know, I just find them like a perfect balance between all the Fire Emblem characters in the game. Like, I personally still like Roy, and I think March with his new buffs is actually a little bit more relevant. But I could see like Corrin like developing a pretty good meta and seeing what's going down with him.
That's cool because you weren't really like excited for it before, but that's cool to hear like they were able to turn you around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just stopped playing Smash like overall, but like when I played with Corrin, I was like, oh, this guy's like, like even though I was like, oh shit, another Fire Emblem guy. It was really cool the way they just incorporated him in his kind of uniqueness to the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I assume you still hate Bayonetta, of course, right?
Oh, I hate Bayonetta. But it's even worse. Like I haven't been to a tournament since the drop, but I hear that it's even worse now with Bayonetta. The thing is just not fun because like some stuff about her, like I don't know too much about her, but yeah, she's broken as all hell if used in the right way.
That's unfortunate. That kind of leads into the next topic of Sakurai said there's not going to be any more patches for Smash Bros. So basically, however the characters are now is what they're going to be for the next like 5 or 6 years or whatever it is. So if a character's busted or needs buffs, like you're kind of screwed.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't hear that from Sakurai. Well, that's crazy. I
had not heard that either. What was that in his blog or something, or where did that come from? I hadn't heard that news.
I got it off of Source Gaming, and they basically do all Smash Brothers news. They look at like Sakurai's weekly column and they translate a lot of the stuff he says. So,
I had read that.
Really
but I didn't pick up on patches being done. I thought he was just saying the game is done. Is that interesting? I mean, even if that translation's right and he said that, what I would say is like Nintendo and their company in general are great at saying never or this won't happen. And then if something's truly busted and if a Meta Knight situation happens with like one of these new characters or something, I wouldn't even personally, this game is too big for them to like let it go by the wayside and like let the fans get really unhappy with it. So I'd take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
You got to stop at some point, right? Like, because you could always be going back and fixing it.
Agreed.
I was looking at the source, and the article doesn't specifically say patches, but there's something along the lines of, like, we're done with the game, we're closing it up, like, there's no more anything happening with it.
I got that impression. I hadn't thought about the patches issue, so I'm going to have to reread that and see. I mean, because I don't know. I still stand by what I said. Like, if a Meta Knight situation would happen and that Smash 4 has been doing really well in terms of popularity at, like, getting into tournaments, getting the game in the spotlight, making Nintendo relevant in the ragingly popular esports genre, if something really egregious started to happen where, people in Mike's caliber or higher are saying, Bayonetta's broken and we've got to ban her from tournaments, because it's screwing up the game, then I guarantee we'd see another patch. I just don't think they're that ignorant at this point, knowing their market situation to let a broken game just languish and have the fan base get alienated all over, like get a brawl going all over again, and everyone just go back to Melee once again and be like, screw this, I don't know.
I mean, Melee is getting bigger, but at the point, like, yeah, that's smart. We all know they're more like focused on the competitive scene as well, especially with both games getting like really big. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's the point where it's like Bayonetta is like unbeatable, but at the same point, it's like if you pick her up and have like a decent amount of skill, it's like from what I hear, like I said, I haven't faced a Bayo in tournament, so but my brother has, and he said like it was just the most unfun he ever had in the game, and it's like he even lost to somebody that he never lose to. You could say, Joe, you're here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's not unfun, but it's like if you listen to all the top players right now, they're gonna be like, "Oh, just give Bayonetta a chance." The players that you're complaining about are really good. No, it's not it. These are very simple to execute.
Are these the same people using Bayonetta? They're like, no, she's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, these are still players that use top tier characters.
Yeah.
And like I fought this kid, and like, I've never lost him. I'm much better than him. But Bayonetta has such safe moves, such range, and none of her moves at all make her go into free fall. So her recovery's amazing. She has a little end lag on her aerials. It's crazy what she can do. Sorry, but that's not the whole point. Is that once we're only about 2 weeks into Bayonetta, once you get into 2 months and combos won't be dropped by execution, it's going to be ridiculous. Everyone's going to main Bayonetta, and that could be a possible promise.
I was watching a Bayo mirror match, and literally, I think it was like Nairo and the Buzz, so like they're two top world players, and they literally kept down being or whatever the slide move to try to get, side being to try to get to the aerial side Bs, follow up, like easy chain. Like it was legitimately 10 seconds of them keep doing it, and they both met up at ledge, kept side being, shielding side B, because it's not even bread and butter, it's automatic, which is the same thing hypothetically. I mean, in a synonymous way, but whatever. Yeah, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what fun. Like, it's funny how I said Bayonetta just kind of ruined the game just because Bayonetta sucks, but it's kind of funny how it's actually in fruition.
Actually ruining the game.
Yeah,
I told you she'd ruin it.
Yeah,
just in a worse way.
Yeah, just in a way that's even worse, for the game than I thought.
That blows.
Well, we'll see. I mean, my thought is that, like, sometimes the whole game, the meta game changes over time, and people start to discover the stuff about how to counter that those kind of things you guys are seeing. But I'm excited to see whether that pans out or not. I mean, I think that they'd be aware of it launching a character like this, that if it had like severely overpowered like traits that you're describing, and they would have found that in testing and then like said, aha, but there's some things in the game that people will find after a while that, you can do to counter. But I don't know. I'm interested.
Well, that's why I said he thought Samus was the best character in the game. I mean, I don't think he knows anything about the game nor the meta. So it's like you can't trust him as far as you can, ask him to make a good single player in Smash Wii U. But
well, it was like it still being developed when he said that, right? So like they've had so many patches since then.
No, it was like
was
after
it an E3?
Yeah, it was like an E3. So I don't know. There was already like 20 characters out when he said that. So we'll see, though. We'll see. I mean, Bayonetta, her face ruined Smash for me. So
just have Bayonetta only tournaments.
Oh god.
All right. So moving on. There's gonna be a new Nintendo Selects catalog. So what it is basically every console has this where when it gets to the console's close to like moving on to the next console, they'll cut the prices in half and put some gold sticker or some stupid thing on it to be like, here are the best games, and we'll give them to you for half off. So they have like 3DS and Wii and Wii U games on it, but the more notable ones are Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Pikmin 3, and Super Mario 3D World. So you'll be able to get those for $30 now.
They do this like it takes them like 5 years every time. Like didn't Galaxy?
Well, I saw Galaxy 2 just got a price cut with this thing. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Like I told you, Nintendo AAA games are always like, oh, okay, I waited 8 years. Maybe it's like, yeah, it's $59.99, not $60 anymore. I'm like, oh, oof, I was waiting for that deal,
Yeah, you pretty much have to wait for store deals or just buy it whenever. It's so bad.
eBay auctions is the only way to get a discount on AAA titles. It really is. It's the only way to do it. You just gotta. Yeah, that's funny because I saw those prices come out and I'm like, yeah, I have literally, 3/4 of the Wii U library like sitting on my shelf here. I'm like, there is not a game in that release that I would want that I don't already have. But it's good for people that are late comers to the game, and it's probably smart of them given that it's just another signal that Wii U is going to get phased out nearer than further, because they started doing the Nintendo Classics for Wii in the final year of the console as well. Same exact thing. I remember those red boxes coming out and the same thing happened. I was like, I have every one of those games already, but hey, they're not selling, discount them. Finally, Nintendo's joining the party on that at least a little bit. Better late than never, right? So.
Yeah, they always wait till the end of the cycle. They're like, screw you. I forgot to mention this last week somehow, but Kimishima said there's apparently large-scale unannounced 3DS games coming this year. I'm guessing they'll like show them off.
That doesn't surprise me. There's got to
Yeah.
be some 3DS stuff in the works.
Yeah, because I don't think there's much coming out this year, is there?
Yeah, I don't even remember. Definitely,
No. The answer is
nothing.
no.
Yeah. I think it's just third-party stuff. I can't think of any first-party games coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's mostly Wii U at this point. And even that's like moving on. So apparently the Pokemon director Junichi Masuda is going to be at E3 this year. So he has appeared at E3 before in 2013 and 2014 to do like question and answer sessions for like main series Pokemon games. So he'll probably talk about like something that's already announced, like Pokemon Go, or maybe they'll have a Nintendo Direct and show off like a new mainstream Pokemon game and then talk about it there. So there's gonna be something Pokemon related.
All right, I was gonna say it's I know Pokken Fighters is also gonna be at Evo, so the biggest fighting tournament of the year already has Pokken Tournament, which is pretty cool.
There are rumors that it could be a new gen of Pokemon because Majarna, like the new Pokemon, was just released, revealed, which would be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a steel version of Deontay.
Yeah.
For those of us that are like Pokemon, ignorant, like how often do they release a so-called generation, and how many Pokemon does that generally mean?
Usually, so that's an interesting question because usually a generation's about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And usually it's anywhere from 100 to 150 Pokemon, but last time there was a new generation, there were only about 50 new Pokemon. So they're thinking that it's very possible they're trying to kind of tone down how many they're releasing.
I think it was just because they had to make like 3D models for all of them, so it was like a lot of work. But now that they have like the backbone for it, it should be easier for them to crank out some new ones.
Plus, they've like run out of like anything to make a Pokemon out of. They're like, well, we've got a chandelier, we got like a doorknob, we got like a footstool,
ice
we
cream
got,
cone.
Like I'm just making those
literal
up.
Garbage.
Is there? Let me ask. Is there a footstool Pokemon?
No.
Oh, come on. See, I could write for Pokemon. What's up with that? They need a footstool.
It's funny because they actually have like a committee of which ones they allow through and which ones they don't. And it's like some of them you're like, you let this through? Are you sure?
Well, I think it's going to be like Clay said. It's going to be household objects are next. I'm going to be looking at like a chair and a coffee mug, and I'll be like, oh my God. Put googly eyes on it and be like, guys, work with this. We can do it. All right?
Well, the weird thing about that is that kind of does have some history in like Japanese folklore. They're called yokai, like Yokai Watch, where you basically
work on that idea, make a game together.
Basically inanimate objects possessed by like spirits or something. So there's like an umbrella with like an eyeball on it and other things like that. Obviously, it doesn't really connect with the rest of the world and it looks kind of stupid, but there's something to some of them at least. Probably not the ice cream cone. What?
I just said I'm sensing big money here. Let's make a yokai game.
Come on, man. It's like, just capitalize on this yokai thing, and then boom, it'll be like the craziest thing Japan's ever got. It'll have like spin-offs, TV shows, movies.
Guys, I'm very angry because the Hoshido army is like laying waste to me right now.
So does Mark like try 7?
Yeah, this is it's not going well.
Yeah.
You're playing video games during a video game podcast. Shame on you, young man.
It's meta, that's it.
Right.
Hey, unlike Mike, he actually has to write a review for it, so there's some.
Yeah, he's got to write a review. I just beat it because I have the accomplishment of me. I'm the best. Okay, can't help it.
So there wasn't much else news that came out this week, or at least nothing worth like talking about, to be quite honest. But I thought I'd pitch a couple of questions. So my first question or topic is if Nintendo was going to do some VR stuff, because they said they would keep an eye on it, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe if it goes big, they will. If Nintendo did do VR stuff, what kind of game would you want to work with it? Like, pitch a Nintendo VR game.
Definitely. For me, it's definitely like a Pokemon 3D like world game.
Oh,
I think
yes.
that's got it. It's good enough time to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be cool, like in a VR, when they have the 3 Pokeballs in front of you and you get to choose which Pokemon you want. Like, that would be cool. Or just even seeing like the battles. Like, you don't do as much. Like, you can still have a controller in your hand the way like you can control Pokemon that way.
Yeah.
Because you could just use it for it, but you could see the whole battle animation thing, kind of thing like Pokemon Stadium meets like another Pokemon 3D world game that should be like one they never made. So it's like you can venture around the town, see around the whole thing, but the battles are a simple process where it's like you could just see you don't see yourself, you just see the 2 Pokemon battling kind of thing, stadium style.
And you could actually like have a ranch or something where you like go up to them and pet them and whatnot, like Professor Oak's random
I mean,
grassy area.
if they had time to
Okay.
add that, like honestly, I wouldn't even mind just playing like literally throw me in like Pokemon Red and just giving me VR glasses, like I'm looking from like Red's perspective kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Cool. Unoclay, I think you were gonna say something.
Unoclay wants real life Smash, and then when you're punching him, he's like, "Oh my god, it's like 4D." He's like, he's like, "Oh, I love this."
No way, man. I suck too bad. It would be a painful experience. No, before.
What job do you have? Oh no, I was just playing my favorite game. I was just playing some Smash. You go to the movies with black and blues and stuff. Be like, this is the future of games, man.
I was only trying to chime in before. I mean, I have an answer, but I was I was trying to chime in before to point out that I don't think it's a question of if they join the VR revolution, but when.
Really?
Because eventually everyone will join that. Eventually, I'm saying maybe not in 4 years, not in 6 years, not in 10 years, but when. If VR takes off, it's not a question of if. We've been talking about this stuff since the 80s. Nintendo will join the party, even if they come to it like years late. It's what they do. So I think I just thought it was worth pointing out because I don't think VR is going to like ever go away. I think it's always going to be on the horizon,
Yeah.
and eventually it's going to be realized. And once Nintendo sees it's if the only if I guess would be if the marketplace for some reason would just totally hate it, where it would become like a phenomenon that was like motion control, where it was a flash in the pan, and then like 2 years from now everyone's like, you know what? I hate it. I just want to sit on my couch and play video games, and forget it.
That's how I think it's gonna go. I think it's because I mean you have to buy the console, which is a couple $100, and then you got to buy the VR headset thing, which is basically buying the console again, and then you have to have enough games that are worth it and all this other stuff. And I just don't think I think it'll be very niche. Like a small audience will like it, but I don't think the mainstream audience will.
I want to believe what you're saying. Partly that could be true, but I'm still sitting here as a guy who hates smartphones, thinking, when's the rest of the world going to wake up to realize that these are like crappy versions of computers that don't work very well and they're really slow and stuff, and they don't have a keyboard and they don't have much power or any RAM. You know what I mean? And everybody's buying them, so things catch on sometimes.
Clay's like, bring back my flip phone.
I'm not like bring it back. I'm like, it's laying right here, bro, and it totally calls people. It's awesome. But no, but
you can come join us in the 21st century when you're ready.
like I just can't. It's a top. We could do a whole podcast. I do not understand how you guys can stand it. I have Fios at my house. The second I use someone's phone, I'm like, this is like going to dial-up. It's so slow, and then it's like this tiny screen. I could go on.
It depends, because apparently like my brother-in-law or whatever gets good reception at his house, but I know in our house, like everyone's phones get like screwed over, like regardless of what phone it is. It's just like they can't get any bars, so
it's just the fact that you have to wait like 4 seconds while it loads, and then you have to scroll all over because you can't see anything, and everything's printed like in weird font sizes and stuff. I'm just no. But this is not the Clay hates smartphone. I could go on, but no. My answer will probably fit neatly between you guys, who will have probably more interesting answers to this question, because Mike's is like right on point, and I'm what I would say is something that would sell might be their best move if they were going to go to VR. They would want to start somewhere small. I'm not thinking something as big as like redoing a game like Pokemon Red. I'm thinking something like doing a Nintendog simulator in VR space, which would be like a family-friendly, get everyone in there, sell them a VR game kind of thing. It's Nintendo's way, is what I'm thinking, to do stuff like that. So they did Miitomo or whatever that's called first for smartphones. It's the same idea. It's what they do. They drop something really ultra casual as their first like foray, and then see how it goes. For me, would I want something different than that? Yes. Obviously I do. I want to play a dog simulator? No, because I would feel guilty because I'd be neglecting my real dog.
Yeah. Like, I'm having so much fun. You have glasses on, and the dog is like holding his bone in front of you.
Yeah, like sitting there, like I want to play, Or I'm
your real dog. You make real poop. I don't want to clean that. All right?
It's like Seinfeld. He's like, dog owners must really like picking up poop.
It's just like, yeah, I can just turn it on, and I don't feel like having them anymore. I'll turn off the game. All right. So
Tamagotchis all over again.
Hey, I feel that way about kids, so I hear that. It's
like, dude, high five on that. Clay, you're the man.
I got this cute little baby for like 20 minutes. It's great. Like, all right, see ya.
Some spells. I'm out.
No, but I was gonna say, and I'm just imagining the realistic limits of where the tech's gonna be at in the near future. So I was thinking if Nintendo really was gonna jump into it, which they aren't, but I mean, if they were gonna jump in now, the obvious spot for them to start would be something like WarioWare, where it's like a game where you're only in a very defined space, like a WarioWare game. It's like one screen event style, gaming where, you'd be picking a sumo's nose, and be tickling Granny and putting some dentures in Grandpa, and all that stuff that you do in WarioWare games that are hilarious, catching buckets of snot falling out of Wario's nose, running around in VR space, like something super Japanese, something super funny like that. That would be an achievably small programming goal where it wouldn't be like, hey, I want, Legend of Zelda where I can go for like 40 miles on my horse. That's not going to happen on today's, technology. So, that would be where I'd think they'd start. It's not necessarily what I'd want. I'd want Metroid, if I had my dream, but that's not where they would start. So what about you guys? Who else got an idea?
I got a couple. So I actually think the opposite, just because there's a high barrier to entry, like, just money wise, like people aren't going to, they'll pick up a console and they'll be like, what, I have to pay like another console just to play like this one game, and it's just like a mini game collection. It's like, screw that. I think it would be kind of cool, but I don't think it would be enough to sell it per se. So a couple of my ideas, like you said, Metroid, it's always been in first perspective, and it's a very like singular, isolated experience. Like, it's just you wandering around like these desolate planets and whatnot.
I just got to stop you and say Metroid has not always been a first-person perspective.
Well, I mean, no,
you think Prime is
no. I know there's the side-scrolling ones,
Super
but
Metroid sucks, so it's all we got. Right? So.
I know there's the side-scrolling ones. I mean, but if they're gonna make one for like a console, they're pretty much gonna go 3D. So that's what I'm thinking. Unless they do like a 2D spin-off at some point, but they're going to have 3D ones for sure. The other one is some sort of mech game like Project Giant Robot, only good. Just to show the perspective, like you're in the first person's perspective of like this monster or this robot, and you're like 500 feet tall, and you see like these cities below you and these people running around, and you're crushing them, and you got to fight this other giant monster, like a Godzilla type of game. Like that would be really
play that.
Cool.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know why I went.
That's a really good idea. Like it just sounds fun and awesome. Like I think not Retro City Rampage. What's the game with the wolf, the reptile, and the ape? It's kind of like a side-scrolling
Rampage.
Yeah, that's
it.
Yeah. That's what it that'd be awesome as a VR thing. Like you get to be a Rampage guy. That would be really cool.
I think someone made something similar with giant robots for a PS4. It's like a mech golf or something. I don't know if you can look through the first-person perspective, but I just remember them like playing giant robot golf or some crap like that. So I kind of half stole that. But another one I thought of would be F-Zero, and this could go either really badly or really cool, because in the game you're supposed to be going like 1,000 miles an hour. So you might actually get motion sickness if you
you'd
were
probably
in
be
the
thrown
pilot
up in
seat.
the living room. You would be projectile vomiting
I
in your living room.
I kind of would want to have it, and then you just have like a fan in front of you, like blowing in front of you, so it feels like you have the hood down or something. I don't know. That'd just be insane. You'd probably barf after like 3 seconds.
Yeah, speed. I got to wear an Oculus one time. I'm
Oh,
sure
lucky.
maybe a couple of you guys have got to try it. And I got motion sickness from just like, and I'm not even sensitive to stuff like that,
Yeah.
typically. And I got motion sick from wearing it for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It's hard to say, and playing like a student project on it where I was walking around in VR space, and I can't imagine going fast in it until our brains acclimate to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be the first one.
And then the last one I thought of, which would be somewhat more simple, is actually Punch Out. So it'd work like Wii Boxing, where you actually have motion controls, but you'd like tilt
That's
your head
good.
back and forth and like dodge out of the way and then punch them in the stomach and stuff. And then if you were actually like knocked out, your character would fall backwards or like spin around in a circle, maybe, and fall on their back, which would probably like make you fall on the floor because it'd be disorienting. But I think I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
I should mention that's of all of them, like that would be the most historically prescient one that you've mentioned, because on Virtual Boy there's a game called Telerobo Boxer that is like it is Punch Out. It's harder and not as good. You're basically robots fighting each other, like kind of like those Knock'em Sock'em robots from back in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is the exact game Punch Out's mechanics, and it's from the first person perspective, and it's on Virtual Boy. I own a copy of it, and it's exactly what you're describing. It's so it would be completely. There's people that see it as like kind of like if you were going to make a like a Zelda like Historia of Punch Out, that Telerobo Boxer would almost count like in the Punch Out like mythos, because it's just like an alternate universe type of Punch Out game or whatever. So yeah, you're nailing it on the head there. It would probably be something they would totally do. Absolutely, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think those are the most realizable ones, other than like F-Zero, obviously. I kind of brought that up because I played Tomb Raider, whatever, the first reboot, next to a window, and it was just kind of like this muggy day. It kind of was raining out, but the wind was blowing through, and like in the game, you're in like caves and whatnot, and wind's blowing through, so it just felt like really cool and atmospheric to like feel like I was in the character's perspective. So that's where I got like the wind turbulence thing from. Even if it'd make you sick, I'd want to try it at least once, like the roller coaster for Oculus Rift. That's got to be insane.
I've been dreaming of VR since I was a little wee kid back in the 80s and first ever played a video game. So I hear you, man. The fan idea is something I've thought about my whole life, the whole environmental aspect of it. But we're going to have to build a chamber into our house with all these like, elements in it to get the true VR experience, until we get the holodecks, of course, someday. But
yeah. And then one last question I had is if you could have a developer, any studio, make an entry in.
Did Eli get to go?
Oh shoot! Yeah.
You guys really named. I mean, you said Pokemon, you said Metroid, which is what I would think. I'm not personally a huge fan of Metroid, but that's what I would think of for VR from Nintendo. Yeah, I can't really think of anything outside. You guys already mentioned a lot of stuff.
Okay, so my final question for today was, if you could have a developer make, or any developer make a Nintendo, if you could have any developer make an entry into a Nintendo franchise, what developer and what franchise would it be?
Yeah, you should go, Eli. We've all been talking our ears off.
Well, I'm trying to.
I got one. For me, it would be Insomniac, definitely. Like, I think all the Ratchet and Clank games and the original Spyros were awesome. Like, I like Naughty Dog, but I don't think they have it in them anymore. But I would play it Insomniac, like some sort of like I don't know, even if it's Mario or like some funky like Metroid version thing. Like, I think Mario, like in the Insomniac style, like Mario Ratchet and Clank style, could definitely work. It's like a Mario Luigi. Like, it would be really cool, like unique, different. Like, I just think Insomniac has a way with building their own world while keeping it hilarious and, like serious at the same time.
I've thought of it. If I could have Square Enix create a Smash Bros. But for RPGs, like an actual like RPG with a bunch of Nintendo characters, like Project X Zone, but with Nintendo characters, but an RPG, but not a strategy game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
Or even something, I guess, like Kingdom Hearts, but with Nintendo characters, where each has their own world.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
That should be the amiibo game, like just tying everything together.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. That'd be awesome.
Come on, Nintendo, get with the times. Going back to what Mike said briefly, he mentioned Insomniac, and that was one of the developers I put on my list. I actually wrote Insomniac should make a Star Fox game because they're all.
Yeah, I couldn't think that's a great franchise to put in there.
Yeah, I mean they don't really have a lot of good flight combat in Ratchet and Clank games, but I mean I don't think it'd be that hard to replicate for Star Fox. But they already work with like furry characters or whatever, so they'd be able to make a story that isn't creepy like Crystal. And just like the overall gameplay, they'd be able to add like so much more to the world to Star Fox than just here you're on this on-rail shooter and then you just go to the next level and next level. They would be able to add a lot of like in between stuff, like different types of combat like on the ground and whatnot, like Star Fox Assault, but even better than that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh in the middle of your talk. I just couldn't help but laugh when you in the same sentence you said they make games about furry creatures, but then you go on to say, and it wouldn't be creepy. I'm already like, dude, it's already creepy. You just said furry. Like, come on.
Glad to be specific about it. Yeah, not furry, but
come on,
it's
they
a
make
hairy
furry
animal.
games. It's creepy.
No.
Let's all be honest. I mean, there's no way Star Fox isn't creepy when you step back from it. It's creepy. Like, I mean, it's like these weird, bulb-eyed, crazy cartoon characters all talking to each other, furry, like kind of humanoid, animals. It's weird. I mean, let's just accept it. It's cool though. We like it. It's weird. It's what it is.
It's the Muppets. The Muppets in space.
It's outer space cosplay. Like space opera. Yeah, it's great. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on, please. I just couldn't help it. I had to laugh.
Oh, all right. I was just going to let you have it, but all right, might as well get to the second game. The second one, or at least the final one for me, would be Irrational Games making a Metroid game. So I don't know if you know Unoclay. Irrational Games made BioShock, and I haven't really played much of Metroid, but it's similar in the fact that you're like a lonely person. It's a very atmospheric game, like going on different, well, you're not going in different worlds in BioShock, but again, it's like this isolated experience like Alien where, you're going around trying to figure crap out. I don't know, I think they could add like a bit of a horror element to it, not like scary or creepy like Dead Space, but just something where you have enemies that you're actually like fearful of, like you have to look around the corner and make sure you don't get killed by this enemy, because in BioShock, like the big daddies, you don't want to mess with big daddies. So to have that kind of element in Metroid, I think would be really cool. And even just have like space exploration and stuff like that. I think they could build like this really cool universe.
I think it's pretty clear listening to everybody that we just want a Metroid game because it comes up like every couple sentences. We're all like, yeah, Metroid something.
I don't even want it, but it's the best like candidate to like mess around with.
And in truth, it makes sense because when you look at Nintendo's like pantheon of characters, even in the recent generation, which has been underserved by a lot of their like, there hasn't been like, I guess by many standards, there haven't been a ton of games for 3DS and Wii U, but it's the series that's like the gaping hole, really. It's like, well, wait a second, like this is one of your biggest franchises, at least in America. And think about it. What other series of theirs hasn't had had an installment in this long? So it makes sense that we're feeling that way. So yeah. I'd play that. I've heard nothing but good about BioShock from y'all that have played it. So the way you describe it, Metroid is blatant ripoff of the Alien.
Yeah.
That Alien film franchise. At least the way it started, it's grown in different directions. It's got some different stuff going on in it nowadays, but but yeah, it would make sense if you're saying that that's how BioShock games feel as well. Then that would be definitely, I'd support that. Sounds cool.
Yeah. Unoclay or Eli, did you have any final thoughts or? ideas?
I think that pretty much covers it for me.
I had something to add on that topic. I don't know what I'd want, what series, your question being like what dev would we want to handle a Nintendo property or come over and work for Nintendo.
Mhm.
I don't know what series exactly. Maybe you guys could help me with it. But for me, being mainly a Nintendo guy, I pretty much, Nintendo's my favorite quote dev, like as far as things go, almost always. And then there's a couple I've come to like because they've worked with Nintendo in the past, like Next Level Games, because of their work on stuff like Punch Out and specifically Mario Strikers. I have a lot of love for them. But we already get games from them, so that's not like a dream studio that I could wish for. And then Namco coming over and doing stuff for Smash and things like that was kind of a dream come true for me, since I'm a kind of into a lot of their classic series and been with them, been watching them forever. But for me, the answer would be the company that brought us the unforgettable Killer 7 and No More Heroes, Grasshopper Manufacturer, who's a part of another bigger studio now, but I think they still exist within another company.
Yeah.
That I forget the name of, but in any case, it's like Gung Ho or something like that. Grasshopper's inside of a company called Gung Ho these days, but Suda 51 still works for Grasshopper, and I absolutely adore the insanity of his works. I think I've mentioned it a long time ago on here, but I couldn't be a bigger fan of the way his games are directed and the way they challenge like the very nature of gaming. I've heard some of the more recent stuff they've done for like PlayStation hasn't been as impactful and people haven't liked it as much, but me looking back to the things I really liked from them, No More Heroes 1 and 2, and like I said, Killer 7. And then I even have that really kind of awful game for DS called Flower, Sun, and Rain that is really tough to play. Famously, like, not the greatest game, but I still like it because it's so bizarre. I don't know. Metroid would be the obvious answer. It's like, what's Nintendo's weirdest series, like that you could get away with making something demented. The only other answer I could come up with would be like, give them Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness sputtered and failed in the Kickstarter thing the other year. Nintendo did renew, I believe, the trademark to it around that same time. Give him Eternal Darkness. It's one of the weirdest things they've ever put themselves behind, and it would be a dream come true to me to see that, since his whole thing is insanity and weirdness, I don't know if you guys like that studio or not, if you guys are into Killer 7 and all that awesome stuff, but if not, it's worth looking up for people out there who haven't played it, because there's some of the strangest and most daring stuff you'll see on a Nintendo system one way or another. So
yeah, I haven't really played them, but you brought up Eternal Darkness, and I haven't played it, but I've heard of a lot of the kind of trollsy things it does, and I think the perfect person to make another Eternal Darkness game is actually Kojima.
Oh yeah, man.
Because in a Metal Gear Solid, he does all these weird things like, you have to put the controller in the second port, and like he fission mailed, so it looks like you failed the mission, but it's actually still going, and TV static effects and things like that. He'd probably be like the one perfect guy.
You've nailed it. You've nailed it. And we have to talk about your lack of having played Killer 7 or having played Eternal Darkness. These are things, dude. These are things. You need to check these games out.
Yeah, I don't know. His games look interesting. I just haven't really gotten to them. But I think that about wraps it up for this week. So you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Eli, where can people find you besides playing Fire Emblem Fates?
Yeah, you can find me on playing Fire Emblem. Twitter at Paul Salon. You can find my review on Nintendo Enthusiast Thursday or Friday, depending on how quick I am at finishing this. Because man, oh man, there's a lot of stuff here. And then yeah, I think that's about it.
Good luck trying to finish that.
Yeah, thanks.
Mike had to dip out, but you can find him at Troyfulbuster at Twitch and Gaming Night Live on YouTube. And Unoclay, where can people find you?
Mike, he's like the cool guy at the party, comes late and leaves early. I gotta get on his plan, dude. That's how you get popular with the ladies. Not that I need that. I'm married.
I don't think anyone even knows that anyway. So you're like, in case my wife listens to this one podcast, I swear I'm not cheating on you.
I could really find that amusing if she's tuning in secretly and listening to this stuff. Not like she hears about Nintendo enough in her everyday life, living with me and not playing games at all herself. Yeah, I'm Unoclay, and on my main place, you'd want to hear any of my nonsense would be Unoclay1 on my IGN. Still alive and still kicking, or I play quite a fair amount of Wii U in the evenings, and I'm Unoclay on Wii U. I've got exactly 3 friend slots left, and if you're cool enough, maybe I'll let you have one of them if someone gets in touch with me. So always check me out if you want to.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can leave us your questions in the comments or at justanothercastle@gmail.com. And if you want to be a guest, just message me at Twitter at @TheMangoViking. So see you next time, and leave gaming to Nintendo.